Patrick Boeuf is a library curator and has been working at the National Library of France since 1994. He has been specializing in conceptual models since 1999, except for a short period in time between 2006 to 2009, during which he worked in the Performing Arts Department of the BNF. He is a member of the IFLA Cataloging Section Standing Committee, the IFLA FERBR Review Group, the CIDOC CRM Special Interest Group, and the FERBR CIDOC CRM Harmonization Group that developed the FERBR Oriented Object Model. Additionally, he is a member of the ISO working group that is preparing an updated version of the international standard name ISO 21127, which translates the conceptual contents of the CIDOC CRM model into the ISO formalism. Patrick, first of all, we would like to thank you once again for your presence.
De nada.
Your work is known for its excellence in state-of-art information systems, and your contribution is outstanding when it comes to the subject here under discussion. How can libraries, archives and museums link their information to work together and exchange their data regarding their differences and content materials?
So, the first question is,
FERBR-oriented object is the harmonization between the IFLA conceptual model, FERBR, from the libraries and the conceptual model, CIDOC CRM, ISO 21127, from the museum's institutions. Do you think that in the near future we can extend the harmonized model FERBR-oriented object to the archives institution as well? In terms of the record information, could it be possible to achieve a conceptual harmonization between those three cultural institutions? What do you think is necessary to do to reach that goal?
Actually, there is some work that is currently being done in that direction. The International Council for Archives is developing a conceptual model for archives, and some contacts have been made between the ICA, International Council for Archives, and the CIDOC CRM and the FRBROO community. The idea is that the ICA intends to develop their own model first, to be sure they have their own conceptualization that meets their own needs first, as a first step. And then, once they have their conceptual model, they will turn to us, they will talk to us and try to see how to translate this new model into the formalism that was used for CIDOC CRM and FRBROO, exactly the same way as the library community turned to CIDOC CRM once they had their own model, which was FRBR. And in a way, it would be pretty much the same exercise we had with FRBR. We had our entity relationship model, which was FRBR, and we translated into the formalism, the object-oriented formalism of CIDOC CRM. And it can be predicted that in the future it might be the same process with the model which will have been developed by the ICA.
you take part in several working groups at IFLA, as we read from your biographical notes. How do you manage all this work? Which of them are more time-consuming and challenging, and why?
Actually, it's a bit too early to ask me this question because I have been a member of the IFLA cataloging section and the FRBR review group for only a few months now. So so far, the load of work is not very important because it's just the beginning. So next year I'll be able to provide a more proper answer.
So thank you. The FRBR library conceptual model is far from having a consensual opinion from libraries around the world. One reason is that it is difficult and expensive for libraries to pass from a flat format like Unimark or Mark 21 to one that demands a semantic overview. In your opinion, what do we need to do for these models to be accepted and implemented, both FRBR and FRBR object-oriented?
I would be tempted to answer persuasion and pedagogy, because that's what is actually needed, because the semantics is present in the data. FRBR is not something that was invented out of the air. It was present already in Cutter's catalog in the 19th century. The most perfect, if I may say so, Ferberized catalog is Cutter's catalog for Boston, for the Athenaeum Library in Boston, which was made in the 19th century. It's amazing if you look at that printed, old-fashioned 19th century catalog. You have Ferber, full and perfect. So really amazing. So this conceptualization is not an invention from the 1990s. It's something that we had somewhere very, very far back at the back of our head, that we had in a way forgotten. And FRBR only refloats that conceptualization that had been forgotten in the course of the 20th century. So I think we, in a way, FRBR looks pretty much towards the past because it goes back to that conceptualization. But such as Janus, it also looks towards the future because it paves the way to RDF triples. It paves the way to a vision of bibliographic data as graphs. That's what's interesting with FRBR, that it connects both the past and the future.
Yes. And the new technologies help to do that kind of thing. About ISO standards 21.7, could you tell us what is new about this updated version you told about?
In a way, nothing is new because the ISO standard just reflects the CDOC CRM. Well, in the specific ISO formalism and layout and phrasing and so on. But ISO standards, as a rule, are updated every 5 years. In the ISO process, every 5 years, you ask the question, should this standard be revised? And the answer is either yes or no. If needed, it is possible to update, to revise a standard earlier than 5 years after, but it's such a huge load of work that in practice we don't do so. So in a way, the ISO standard was the embodiment of the frozen state of the model, if I may say so. But during that time, the CDOC CRM special interest group, the CRM SIG, continued to work on the model and made it evolve. So there was no synchronization between the ISO standard and the actual model. So this, after a period of 5 years, it was thought to be a good opportunity to resynchronize the ISO standard and the model. So there is nothing really new. It's just to take into account what had been done in the meantime in the CRM model. Yes.
Okay. So, according to your study presented today, could you tell us in a few words what were the main problems, the roadblocks to its development?
I wouldn't say there were really problems or roadblocks. I would say that the main problem is time and patience, because, as I said in my presentation, it was a very, very long process. It took virtually over 10 years. So the main thing, well, in this world wherein we live currently, something that takes 10 years to be done is something that scares people, and especially managers and people who fund the project. People are not willing to fund a project that lasts 10 years. So I would say that the main problem and the main roadblock is time and patience.
So the last one. Portugal is taking the first steps towards this big idea to link information.
I'm interrupting you.
Yes.
Not only Portugal, but everyone. It's the big step everywhere. It's the first step.
The first step
everywhere.
Yes. To link information from museums, libraries, and archives. What do you think about the relationship between national and international associations? Would you think it would be possible for our working group on information systems in museums to be an integral part and therefore work together to accomplish that particular goal?
I think the relationship between the national level and the international level is quite indispensable. It's very, very important because, as I said in the answer to one of the other questions, persuasion and pedagogy are essential, and that connection between the national and the international level is essential in order to achieve that effort in persuasion and pedagogy. So yes, you're very, very, very welcome to take part in the works of all the various international institutions or organizations that exist, either ICOM or IFLA or the ICA for archives. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for your interview.
Muito obrigado.
Obrigada.